Hello everyone. As of the making of this video, fairly recently, I came across a video of a former Wiccan exposing the truth about Wicca, and then my reaction to that is, what the fuck? I mean, this film was definitely fundamentalist Christian propaganda, and I'm not going to say Christian because maybe I should, because I mean I have to acknowledge they are Christians. I do have a responsibility for this sort of stuff. I mean, yeah. But I mean, looking at this, it's really upsetting. This sort of fundamentalist Christian propaganda trying to show that showing that their Christian faith is the true religion and all that, and while demonizing paganism. It's already sad enough to see that it's been demonized, but seeing someone who once was a pagan or a witch, or, yeah, Wiccan, to really just openly talk about it in this negative way. I mean, talk about, oh, it was became such a problem in my life, and it's like, one of the things this person said was, I mean, I thought I was being helped by these great spirits but I realized they were these demons, and it was toxic for me. It was, whoa. Wow. Hearing things like that, and then talking about things like casting spells, when they said that when this person actually said this, that when casting a spell, when a prayer is more of a request, casting a spell is a demand. It's like, really? Go into the Lord's Prayer. Give us this day our daily bread. That's a demand. There are a lot of Christians who, when they pray, they're making demands for things to happen to them. I mean, there are probably several football players who are praying, God, help me win this game. That's kind of a demand. And it's a very self-centered demand also. And things like all sorts of things. And I mean, I'm not against prayer, I'm not against casting spells, but I mean, also, I mean, I don't really know, and I have several, I mean, probably the majority of my subscribers are pagans and Wiccans and witches and such. But I mean, I'm sure that many of them will say that a spell is just kind of a ritual hoping for luck, for good things to happen. I'm not sure if some of them might think that things are actually going to happen with absolute certainty, but I think many of them probably don't. I don't know, I can't speak for them. And part of it is, I think, all the stuff about talking about, oh, I was so misguided, and now I've come to my senses and have rediscovered that Jesus is the only way, and it's been so life-giving. Well, I mean, for me, Christianity has been very life-giving for me. And I definitely, in my past, many years ago, I was definitely participated very heavily with a lot of pagans. I definitely had a love for it, and I've moved away. I think, yeah, at that time it was because I came to the realization I came to the view that it was kind of going against my Jewish faith, and I decided that Judaism was much more important to me. And I mean, I've eventually, I have a huge respect for pagans. I mean, so that was the thing. I mean, I eventually pretty much kind of left Judaism, but eventually I've become very much a Christian. And for me, Christian is, I guess it was always, I guess I always had Christianity in my heart. But overall, I'm going to say, well, this sort of scaring people, trying to scare people into thinking that all these other, basically demonizing other religions is something that I'm very much against. And going to the Gospels, the parable of the Good Samaritan, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase it, and sort of modernize it. I mean, part of it, yeah. And there's a man. He's robbed, and he's beaten half to death and pushed out into the street, and he can barely move. And if no one helps him, he's gonna die pretty soon. And there's, in the story, Jesus told a priest or a rabbi, depending on which translation you're talking about, walks by and ignores the man. Then a Levite, or in a modern version of the story, it could be a missionary, and the rabbi could be a pastor, who also ignores the suffering man. But then a Samaritan. In the Old Testament, the Samaritans are described as people who turned their backs off of the God of Abraham and went a-whoring after false gods, who committed idolatry and stuff. Basically, pagans in the Samaritan. Or today we could easily say a pagan. Or we could say an atheist or Muslim or a Jewish person or anything like that. Basically, the Samaritan is someone who helps. So, I mean, when Jesus is... I mean, part of it is the people that Jesus repeatedly loses his temper at are the Pharisees, the people who know scriptures inside and out, who have all these verses memorized, and they're repeatedly pointing out all the things that people are doing wrong, that go against the scriptures and such. Those are it's the people who are being very strict, following scriptures, or being very strict about following scriptures, who Jesus loses his temper over, who he basically condemns, who he criticizes, who he speaks against. The people he magnetizes are people like the Samaritans. I mean, the people he magnetizes are the social outcasts, those who are thought to be sinners. And I think, yeah, I mean, for me, being a Christian has been very life-giving, it's been very special for me, but I'm not going to go and demonize people of other faiths. I mean, I have friends who are atheists, pagan, Wiccan, witch, or I have friends who are Jewish, Muslim, atheist, I think I said that, Buddhist, agnostic, and I consider them great friends. And I mean, really, this sort of thread, I have a huge problem with it. And I mean, we can go around saying that this religion's the false religion, but I mean, who's going to show themselves to be right? And Jesus says, "By this shall people know that you are my disciples, that you love one another." And something my pastor pointed out is that Christians historically are famous for doing just the opposite. Now, okay, I'm definitely talking a lot more about all the horrors that my fellow Christians have done, and not talking enough about kind of these articles and videos I've seen that are very upsetting for me. But anyway, I'm going to end by quoting Pastor Nadia Bolz-Weber. She's currently a Lutheran pastor, but she does have a past in paganism, and she said something really wonderful about it. This is from her recent book, Pastrix, and it's something that I actually found this quote in an article written against her, and then I saw a video of her, and there was a link to a video of her talking about her book, and somewhere along the line this quote was actually there, so I heard her say it herself. Pastor Nadia Bolz-Weber says this about her past as a pagan. The goddess we spoke of never felt to me like a substitute for God, but simply another aspect of the divine, like God's aunt or something. When I tell other Christians of my time with the goddess, I think they expect me to characterize it as a period in my life when I was misguided, that now, thankfully, I have come back to both Jesus and my senses. But it's not like that. I can't imagine that the God of the universe is limited to our ideas of God. I can't image that God doesn't reveal God's self in countless ways outside of the simple system of Christianity. And in a way, I need a God who is bigger and more nimble and more mysterious than what I could understand or contrive. Now, I mean, I don't agree with the way she describes or defines the goddess, but it's Pastor Nadia Bolz-Weber, kind of sarcastic personality and sense of humor. Something saying God's aunt, okay, fine. I mean, to me, I view that as another perspective, not another aspect, but we can argue and discuss language some other time. I guess that's my video. Thank you for watching. Shalom.